Admiral Greenert, Admiral Ferguson, Admiral Buck, I am humbled to receive this award and very, very grateful. At the same time, I want to acknowledge my guests who are here today and have been supporters of mine throughout the years. My daughter and her family, my sisters, my partner, my friends, and of course, the great class of 1971. I'd ask the class of 71 to stand up, please. And of those classmates, I'd like to single out 5 of them who were instrumental in supporting my candidacy. Of course, our president, Perry Martini, Tom LeBoon, Tom Ledvina, Tim Keating, and John Sadler. And while I don't come from a Navy family, after graduation, I became part of a Navy family, as I have wonderful son-in-law, brother-in-law, and a nephew-in-law, all of whom are Naval Academy graduates. Let me segue now to several comments I'd like to make to the brigade. Since I graduated from this institution 50 years ago, I've had 3 careers: as a nuclear submarine officer, an investment banker, and a construction professional. In all 3 of those jobs and careers, the traits that I learned here at the Naval Academy have stuck with me. They have served as the guideposts by which I live my life. Let me speak to 2 examples of things that I learned in my first 2 duty stations. Upon reporting to my first submarine, which was the USS Spadefish, we were the bottom of the squadron. It seemed like everything we did somehow didn't work out. And it didn't change until a year later, a new captain came on board. He was a graduate of the Naval Academy class of 61. And he began through his leadership to turn the tide. And when I left the submarine 2.5 years later, it was the #1 ship in the squadron and won the Battle Efficiency E. The other thing I wanted to mention was in my second duty station, and it was the lesson of listening and listening very, very closely. When I reported to the Bureau of Naval Personnel at that time, we didn't have personal computers. All 1,300 nuclear submarine junior officers had one phone number to call with questions about their assignment. And that went from as far east as Naples, Italy, to as far west as Yokosuka, Japan. And one thing that each individual expected was that I remembered what they had said the last time I talked to them. And I had an obligation to remember that. And working very closely with my assistant, we came up with a system where we could instantaneously, or almost instantaneously, access that last conversation. These traits that were honed in the skills were essential later in my life as an investment banker. When the Twin Towers fell in September 11th, our firm's offices in New York City were directly across the street from the Twin Towers. And it required a lot of management It required a lot of working with people to react to those events because we had to move the offices out of New York City. We had to reallocate people. But through some of the skills that were learned at the Naval Academy, we did it and did it successfully. A second example was the one that was learned during the financial crisis of 2008. And during that crisis, some of the leading investment banks in this country went out of business, like Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers. But in the middle of that difficult time, through strong leadership and through listening closely to the people, we were able to significantly grow the firm, adding many talented individuals. I'd like to move into two quotes that are important to me in my life. The first one was taught to me by my father, and it comes from Abraham Lincoln, and it reads, "I will prepare, and someday my chance will come." What's sort of left out of that statement is without the preparation, your day isn't going to come. Recently, I've read Admiral Stavridis' new book, To Risk It All, and I'm very reminded of Abraham Lincoln's statement in that book. One chapter in the book that I was particularly touched by was the story of Admiral Leahy, who was the last admiral to receive the title Admiral of the Navy, which is the equivalent of a 6-star admiral. And in Admiral Leahy's memoirs, he attributed the critical success that he achieved in his career, specifically at the Battle of Manila Bay versus the Spanish fleet, to the hard work and preparation that was made during peacetime. In closing, I'd like to cite another verse. It's a biblical verse, and it reads, "To those much is given, much is required." Much has been given to me by the Naval Academy. What I learned here has been part of my life. I feel an obligation to give back, to maintain the margin of excellence here at the Academy, which we all strive for, and I hope to do that. God bless the Academy. God bless the United States of America. Amen.